week on Geek Crash Course, we're covering a character whose part in comics history has been watered down, and we're going to help you wade through the ocean of continuity to show that he's actually a swell guy. Get it? Swell? Like ocean?
This week we're covering Aquaman with a wave of aquatic wordplay. I'm Diana Dekajlo.
I'm Michael Nixon.
And this is
It's
Geek Crash Course. First appearing in 1941's More Fun Comics number 73, Aquaman made his way into the world with less of a splash and more of a drip.
He was a side character in DC anthologies without his own title until 1962 with Aquaman #1, although he was a founding member of the Justice League during the Silver Age of comics.
Aquaman once had a super intelligent octopus named Topo as his sidekick. Topo was taught archery by the Green Arrow and could play several musical instruments at once. Aquaman is actually Arthur Curry, the son of a lighthouse keeper, his father, and a water-breathing woman that was cast out of Atlantis. Eventually, Arthur returned to Atlantis, where folks call him Orin, took his rightful place as king, and began protecting his kingdom, also known as all of the Earth's oceans, as Aquaman.
Aquaman's general deal is that he's stronger than average people, not like Superman strong, but basically pretty jacked. He can swim crazy fast, breathes underwater just fine, can echolocate, see in total darkness, and what's the other thing?
Nothing major, just that he can telepathically communicate with sea creatures. Yeah, the thing you've probably heard someone talk about jokingly, it's his thing.
He talks to fish and octopi and sharks and seagulls too, actually. It's not just limited to sea life, and it's not exactly talking, as a variety of retcons and tweaks over the years have clarified.
Either way, feel more guilty about eating sushi because Aquaman.
Okay, we should mention the hand thing. Aquaman got his hand chopped off at one point. Initially, he just sort of jammed a harpoon in there and bandaged it up.
Realizing that this was a great way to die of gangrene, he swapped it out with a retractable cybernetic harpoon hand created by Star Labs. At one point, he had a hand made of magic water that could change into stuff, too.
At one point, Aquaman died, passing on the mantle to a new Aquaman, Arthur Joseph Curry, with the original Aquaman changed into a sort of fishman mentor before he sacrificed himself to raise Sub-Diego, a submerged San Diego, from the ocean.
He returned as a zombie and then to normal life in the Blackest Night event, which also restores his original hand, and the younger Aquaman just sort of bailed off screen, never to be heard from again.
Right around the New 52 reboot, Aquaman started favoring the trident as a really go-to weapon. He carries it around these days more than before and is really good at chucking it into stuff. It's kind of awesome.
Recent stories have really amped up the King of Atlantis side of Aquaman's backstory as well, adding a sense of regalness to the character to give him a generally fan-liked personality shift. There's also been a bigger focus on Mera, Queen of Atlantis and Aquaman's wife, who protects the seas alongside him.
Because his life and story are so intertwined with the ocean, Aquaman can't stay out of the water very long. The longer he stays out of the water, the weaker he gets. He would not do well somewhere like Kansas.
You could say he'd be a fish out of water.
Haha, harpoon fire! Ah! This is a bad idea.
Better not do.
This is a bad idea.
Self-5!
Aquaman has had two protégés use the name Aqualad. The original version, Garth, later struck out on his own as the hero Tempest. The second, Jackson Hyde, was actually the son of Black Manta, Aquaman's greatest foe. An alternate version of Hyde, going by Atlantean name Kaldur'am, appeared in the Young Justice animated series. While Aquaman's original run of stories do feature some gems, we'd recommend that newcomers check out the more recent New 52 title, which followed a massive reboot of the DC Universe.
This updated Aquaman series acknowledges in the first issue that people think he's kind of a joke, and then they earn him a place as a proper badass through some solid storytelling and deepening of his backstory, including a Justice League-style team of undersea heroes, the Others.
Outside of comics, Aquaman's really benefited in the world of animation too, including the DC animated shows like Superman and Justice League. But we also have to mention Batman the Brave and the Bold, a more Silver Age show with an outrageously fun take on the character.
His appearances in Young Justice are relatively rare, but his protege, Aqualad, is the leader of the team for the majority of the first season and gets into some deep drama in season 2.
Unintentional pun. Also, if you can find the 2006 CW pilot with the guy who went on to become Smallville's Green Arrow, it's pretty solid. Aquaman shows up in some episodes of Smallville too, played by a different guy, including their Justice League episode, but he's nothing to shake a trident at. Personally, I'm also not a huge fan of the 1989 Legend of Aquaman special. It convolutes his background a little too much and goes off the deep end story-wise.
There's also an awful Aquaman video game that's honestly so bad, we feel guilty for telling you about it.
Your mileage may vary with the Peter David run. I'm a huge fan of his writing in general, so I really enjoy the stories, but the whole bearded, shirtless, wacky harpoon hand look isn't exactly well loved, nor is the 90s turn into kind of grim and grittiness.
If you could talk to undersea life, what sea creature would you talk to? Let us know in the comments below.
And remember to chop off your left hand and replace it with a rusty harpoon.
No painkillers. Aquaman can swim up Niagara Falls. Suck it, Barrel Lady. That's harsh, bro.
No regrets.
That is it for this week's Geek Crash Course on Aquaman.
If you have any questions, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and our website, geekcrashcourse.com.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time
on Geek Crash Course.
I have got to get this looked at. Can you swim and see if we can find a guy? My paddling's not... This isn't working.